One day, you're going to look around and you're going to realize that everybody loves you, but nobody likes you. And that is the loneliest feeling in the world.
I admit it, another hoe got me finished. Broke my heart, oh no you didn't.
Welcome back everybody to another exciting news time. So, actually no, this is not news time, this is rumor time. I keep getting that stuff wrong. This one, last video did pretty well. It got like 50 something views, which is actually fairly good for the channel, you know. The channel, you know, we're going up in views. We're starting to get more than 10, 20, more than 20 views is actually now starting to get pretty common on the channel, which is actually very good to hear. So, it's great that I'm producing content that you guys like. So, that's good. Thank you for that. This rumor time, it contends of 20 plus rumors. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's the first side. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we have 21 rumors here. 21 rumors. So this is going to be an insane video. If you guys do enjoy what I do here, please make sure to like, hit the subscribe button. There is going to be a long one, so get your popcorn ready and stuff. And get ready for a treat. So, the first rumor, do not expect a reunion this fall with Marc-Andre Fleury and the Pittsburgh Penguins. He wants to be the starter, and he has a point to prove with the Vegas Golden Knights management. Now, I've been seeing rumors of Ottawa being interested in them, Oilers being interested in them, Panthers being interested in them. It's not happening. I think Marc-Andre Fleury stays in Ottawa, and it's going to be an interesting year. Because he wants to be starter, but yeah, they quote unquote locked up Leonard. But we don't know if that contract's been accepted yet. That's the thing. People are saying like, oh, that contract's been accepted. No, Leonard denied that. Leonard reportedly denied that. We talked about that a few videos ago. So it's not exactly true. He has not exactly signed his contract yet. We'll find out. We should have found out now, actually. But anyways, because they said they would announce at the end of the team's playoff run, and pretty much like a few days after that, their playoff run was over. So basically, they kind of jinxed themselves. But it is what it is, I guess. So don't expect a reunion with Fleury and the Penguins. I don't think he's going to any other teams that I mentioned. So yeah. The second rumor, it's unlikely for Galchenyuk. It's unlikely that Alex Galchenyuk returns to the Wild. Now, if you guys didn't know, Galchenyuk has been absolutely bouncing around the league over the past like 2-3 years. 2018-19, he went to the Coyotes from Montreal, which he played 8 seasons in before, and then he went to Pittsburgh in the Phil Kessel trade. He went to Minnesota in the Jason Zucker trade, and now they're saying it's unlikely he returns to Minnesota. So he's going to be on another team. You guys might hear the TV in the back from the intermission. What team, you ask? I don't know. I don't really see a team out there that could really go after Galchenyuk. Galchenyuk has not impressed me this season. Or last season, in fact. You know, I mean, when Galchenyuk headed into Arizona, I had high hopes for him. Because at the time, I didn't know much about the Canadiens or I knew a decent amount about the Coyotes, but I didn't know much about the Canadiens. I knew a lot of their history, which is kind of odd. I know more of teams' histories than I do about the actual team, which is actually kind of weird. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's unlikely he returns to Minnesota, though, and I honestly don't know. He came to the Coyotes, and, you know, I had high hopes for him. He did decent. I mean, I came out with, like, a meh over him, and then he went to Pittsburgh, which kind of brought down points, because, you know, at the time, I hated the Pens, despised them. So, I mean, I don't even really hate him right now, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to start feeling bad for him in a few years. So, yeah, I've talked about the Pens multiple times before on the channel, if you've been a fan for a long time. So, and then he went to Minnesota, and I was like, okay, whatever. So, I guess he gained a few points back, but I don't really know. I don't know how I feel about Galchenyuk anymore. He has not impressed me, and I don't know if he comes back to Minnesota. I don't know what team he'll play for after that, too. We'll find out, I guess. All right, third rumor here. The Sens are rumoring that they're going to try and get Tim Stützle. To be honest, I don't see that as a bad deal for the Sens. A lot of people saying, oh, they'll get Tim Stützle and then they'll get maybe Marco Rossi at fourth. No, I think that I'm going to do my draft rankings when when we get closer to the draft, likely around October 1st actually. And I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. So Lafreniere's at number 1, which is pretty obvious. Byfield's at number 2. Stutzel's at number 3. Rossi's at 4, and Perfetti's at 5. So that's my right there. That's mine right there. You can argue with me with that in the comments below, but that is mine right there. I know that video is likely gonna get a lot of dislikes because those ones are pretty controversial. So I think that they will actually land Stutzel. I don't think, why wouldn't they? And, you know, no matter who they get with their 2 draft picks, including their 21st one, it's going to be great for Ottawa. They're going to have such a bright future. We're back to talking about Pittsburgh. I feel like we talk about Pittsburgh literally every single video we do. So, trading Hornquist is apparently worth considering for the Pens. Now, Hornquist has done decent this season. He's one of those players that I was like, he's okay, I guess. And, you know, it is worth considering. I wonder what they can get back for Hornquist. I mean, this Pens team, you know, they kind of could use some decent players. Because their core is kind of, I want to say their core is kind of dying because they have Getzel and Aston Reese and all those players coming up. But they have Letang, Crosby. I don't know if you could throw Murray in there because Murray might be traded soon. But we don't know. Their core is kind of dying and they're going to start going down pretty soon. So that's not part of the point. All right, so the Sabres are reportedly might shop Brandon Montour. Now, Montour was traded by the Ducks last season to the Sabres, and you know, I feel like I never talked about the Ducks too. Like they have like the least amount of rumors of every team in the entire ever. So, I mean, Montour, he's done okay, I guess, for Ottawa, but this was, I don't really know. Ristolainen. We talked about Ristolainen so many times before. Ristolainen trade incoming? That's the question. Now, it was over a year ago now that Rasmus Ristolainen requested a trade. It was around August, I want to say, maybe July. I'm not too sure. And he didn't get his offer even a year later. So, incoming, potentially, you could see Ristolainen and Montour going in there to a team that really needs defense. At the time with the Ristolainen thing, I said that Risto may be going to Calgary. That option still stands. You know, you could see a Ristolainen Hamonic trade you would see a Rasmus Ristolainen Travis Hamonic trade. People might think, that's retarded, but I don't think it is. I think that could actually happen. And at the time, I said that they were going to that he could go to Calgary because Calgary had an injured defenseman when Ristolainen requested a trade. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use my big brain intelligence here of a 12-year-old me and say, oh, okay, so Ristolainen is going to get traded to Calgary for a decent player. You know, Gaudreau wasn't in trade rumors at the time. I don't think he was, but you know, it's you could potentially see it. You never know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This rumor basically means nothing. Now I'm just going to get out of the way here. Bruce Boudreau as an assistant coach for Toronto. Now Manny, I forget his last name already, was hired as assistant coach today, so that pretty much just eliminates that rumor altogether. He wants to be a head coach though, so that basically eliminates the rumor as well. So yeah, Boudreau, I do not think he's getting another head coach role. He had a chance with the Ducks, he had a chance with the Capitals, and he could not capitalize on either of them. And with the Wild too, he really couldn't capitalize. I remember in 2018-19, he guaranteed the Wild would make the playoffs. Guess what? They didn't make the playoffs. I remember. It's like those type of things that I remember, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hold him to that. So yeah, I'm still holding Boudreau to that to this day. We got destinations for Alex Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo, I've talked about so many times on the channel before. It really stinks seeing him maybe leave St. Louis, and potential places, potential destinations could be Vegas, which Vegas could, to be honest, use that veteran presence and defense. And Florida, which could use everything pretty much. So, I mean, not with Florida. Florida, the thing is, though, they're kind of half and half. Vasilevsky. Bobrovsky will play great when they can't score, and Bobrovsky will play horrible when the Florida Panthers can score. So it's kind of it's a confusing thing. So yeah. Wait, why did I say Travis Hamonic? I meant TJ Brody. I'm sorry about that in the Ristolainen thing. So I just saw that on my notes here. So pretty much. Yeah, I could see him going to both of those teams. It's gonna look weird having him in there though. So, yeah, take it with what you will. The Devils reportedly are interested in TJ Brody. Now, TJ Brody is a pending UFA this season, and I don't know. I think this could be a good deal for the Devils if they can send something decent in return back to the Flames. The Devils, despite having like the best offseason in 2019, we're probably one of the worst. We're one of the worst team. We're one of the worst looking teams this offseason. So like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, I guess. But you know, TJ Brodie could really help out their team with that. Solid player, and yeah. On the Blues, we got more Blues things here. The Blues could return. We have a lot of like target things here. I have target things for Detroit, Toronto. I think I have a few on the other side too. The Devils, Oilers, Sens. Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff in here about trade destinations for people that the teams could trade for. So starting off with the Blues here, we have the Blues could target Ilya Kovalchuk, who is with the Washington Capitals. Patrick Maroon, who is with the Tampa Bay Lightning, currently playing back there, so I should probably get back to that soon. Marlowe playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Matt Irwin playing for the Predators, and Fattenberg playing for the Preds again. I can't remember. So Toronto. I don't even know anymore. So yeah, those are players the Blues could target. I mean, they would help with their team, but it really eliminates the point of signing Pietrangelo also. So there you go. Kovalchuk, great player, really proved me wrong this season. He's actually one of my favorite players in the NHL right now. Even though he didn't play well in the playoffs, he's one of my favorite players in the NHL. I remember covering one of the first ever signing that I've reviewed on the channel was the Ilya Kovalchuk signing, and it was probably one of the best videos I've ever made. It was so much fun to make. I just love, because Ilya Kovalchuk, and I made a career video on him too. I made it like 2 days later, and Kovalchuk has such a storied career, such a great career. He's like one of the very few people still in the NHL after playing with the Atlanta Thrashers. I think Bogosian's another one, and I guess Bufflin's another one too. So those are the only ones. Andrew Ladd too. Andrew Ladd also played for Atlanta too. So those are like 4 players that played for the OG Atlanta team. Did Kane play for them? I swear, maybe. But yeah, Kovalchuk's been great to watch. Patrick Maroon. I remember when he got signed by Tampa Bay, and I was like, okay. And he's developed into one of my favorite players for Tampa. You watch all these games, you're like, oh, he's cool. Bogosian and Marlowe especially. Bogosian and, not Marlowe. Marlowe, I've always liked Marlowe. Maroon and Bogosian especially. Those teams, especially after watching pretty much every single Tampa game this playoffs, they've really become one of my favorite players on the team. And they're racking up the numbers, too. Because, like, I watched every single game in round 2 for Tampa, and I've watched every single game in round 3 for Tampa so far. I think I might have missed 1... Or no, I might have missed 2 in the first round against Columbus, and I think I only watched 1 in the round robin. So I only missed 4 total games for Tampa in these playoffs. So that's insane. And then Tampa's really fun to watch. So I wouldn't mind going to Blues. Patrick Marleau now. So Marleau's pretty interesting. Marleau I've always liked when he was with the Maple Leafs, because that was when I first started liking hockey. He was first with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I remember him scoring his first goal against the Jets. Great goal. So if he went to the Blues, I wouldn't mind that. But he's been bouncing around the league lately. Matt Irwin don't really have a big opinion on him. And Fattenberg is okay on my book. I don't even know what team he plays for. I forget. So yeah, Fattenberg. Those players, I could see him going to St. Louis, but it would be pretty good moves for them. The Maple Leafs now. The Maple Leafs could defensively target. These are things with the Maple Leafs now. The Maple Leafs could defensively target Brett Pesce, Josh Manson, and Mark Borowiecki. So 3 defensemen there that could be perfect. Pesce with the Carolina Hurricanes currently. Fun player to watch. Developed as one of my favorite players in the Canes. And if he went to Toronto, I guess it'd be okay with it. Josh Manson, I think he plays for the Ducks. He's meh, I guess. I mean, he's a decent... I really haven't watched the Ducks that very often. They're like the least talked about team on this channel. And Mark Borowiecki, I have a huge opinion on him. He's probably my favorite D-man in, like, the Eastern Conference. I don't know about the West, though. So, he's probably one of my favorite defensemen of all time, and he's going to stay my favorite defenseman of all time. So I want him to stay in Ottawa, though. Yeah, Sorelli's back for the 3rd. I just got a notification from Elliot Friedman. So, yeah, Borowiecki, or Borowiecki. I don't know why I keep saying Borowiecki. It's Borowiecki. Borowiecki, it would stink to see him leave Ottawa, but I'm developing a love for Toronto, too. That's why I'm so passionate about Toronto now, apparently. And, you know, like, Ottawa and Toronto are, like, some of my two favorite teams in the Atlantic, so it's, I wouldn't mind seeing him go there, but I kind of want him to stay with Ottawa. Trade options for Detroit. Just some young players here. Borgstrom, Henrik Borgstrom replaced for Florida. Elias Anderson, who we'll talk about in a second here. Kyle Turris for Preds, and Thomas Hickey for the Islanders. Henrik Borgstrom, I guess he's decent. Haven't really watched him play too often. Elias Anderson. I don't know why I say Elias Anderson a lot. Elias Anderson is he's one of those guys that like disappoint me. You know, you could see a potential Puljujärvi for Elias Anderson trade, but that's not going to work out. They're two good players playing in the Sweden leagues right now. They don't even want to play for their two teams. Puljujärvi, I don't even think he specified why, if I'm not mistaken. And Anderson, it was quote unquote, or no, it might have been bullying. I'm not going to say quote unquote bullying because it might not have been. People asked if people were bullying him on the team, and he didn't say he wanted to answer. So I don't want to say I don't want to say that that basically says like, we got bullied, but it kind of hints it. So I don't know. Take it with what you will. And Kyle Turris, great player for the Preds, and Hickey for the Islanders, played well this playoffs. Haven't seen him too much though. So you know those are gonna be great players for Detroit, especially with their struggling team currently. Colorado and Carolina have interest in Braden Holtby. Now, in the last rumor time, we basically confirmed that Braden Holtby will not be returning to Washington. We talked about Colorado with him going back to Colorado and how it could be great chemistry for him and Grubauer because, you know, they played back in the 2018 Cups. So it would be great to see him go back to Colorado. It would be a great goaltending tandem once again. It really stunk to see Grubauer traded to Colorado, but I could see them going back together. Carolina, they can use that veteran backup goalie presence, which will help the team a lot. So I think that would pretty help him a lot because, you know, you got Mrazek and then you got James Reimer, who's probably like one of the most underrated goalies in the NHL. Not gonna lie, and you know, adding that veteran presence there, that's gonna be great for them. We have another tiny little bit rumor about Vegas here. So Vegas trading Stastny for cap space. Stastny played decent in these playoffs, not too bad. It's just for cap space, so you never know what's going to happen, and you will see. So we have another tiny little thing here. Parise for Ladd. Two god-awful contracts for two decent players. So, you know, these are two teams that, you know, Minnesota is kind of just going for a rebuild. I don't want to say going for a rebuild, but they've kind of been going for the rebuild the entire time. But you know what I mean. So technically, they're going for the rebuild, but they're not. And, you know, the Islanders, I think they got a bright future ahead of them. And I think they're going to win the Cup one of these years. Because they're coming really close every year now. Until Trotz get fired. Watch Trotz get fired and they'd be dead last in the NHL. No. But, you know, anyways. Trotz really brought this team together. I mean, you can't put all of that credit on Trotz, though. You got to give some credit to Lou Lamoriello. But, you know, that's not the point. So, you know, Parise for Ladd. Ladd has a god-awful contract. He's had a bad contract for years now. Parise I remember this one thing by Urinating Tree. It was like July 4th, 2012, the year that killed the Minnesota Wild, and where they offered Ryan Suter and like Zach Parise the same contract for like $12 million for 8-something years. And they didn't turn into the people that they turned out to be. So I don't know what I would feel about that. It's two bad contracts trading together. So I guess it's a win for both teams, I guess. They're trading bad contracts for a bad contract. I don't know. It's not an official trade, but it was a trade rumor. We have a few rumors left here. The Devils plan to add 2 defenders, a top 6 forward, and a third line right wing. So the 2 defenders could be Borowiecki and who's another one? And Brett Pesce or Josh Manson, as I said for Toronto. So you never know. You can see those guys going. Top 6 forward, some people were saying Brandon Saad. Maybe. I don't know if he deserves second line. He's not getting first line. No way in heck. Especially on the Devils. Well, maybe actually. I don't know. So I don't know if he deserves. I don't know if he would get second line minutes or third line minutes. But you know, seeing Brandon Saad go to the Devils could be likely. And I cannot think of a third line right wing. Maybe Kyle Turris. if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's a right wing, but Anyways, either way, I think the Devils are gonna go through a lot of plans this season, and that's just one of them. That rumor that we talked about Ovechkin, that's not exactly true anymore, because Ovechkin could be seeking as much as $12 million in average annual value in extensions. Unbelievable. Ovechkin, credit to him, he's a great player. I don't know if he deserves $12 million. He might even deserve more, depending on who you ask. And you can see it happening. It's potential, but I don't know if it's as deserved much for $12 million. But you never know. Capitals fans, let me know in the comments below. Oilers goaltending targets. The Oilers could target Korpisalo, who's played great for Columbus, Merzlikins, who's also played great for Columbus, Alexander Georgiev, and Adin Hill. Now, we'll talk about these players individually here. So, Korpisalo, he was injured on probably one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen. And it really stinks for the Islanders. It stunk for the Blue Jackets at the time. Tortorella got fined like $25,000 for it, which was retarded. You guys know what game I'm talking about. It's against Chicago. Merzlikins, who's another player here, stepped in and played great for Korpisalo. And then when Korpisalo came back, they played great together. So I think that I don't think that the Jackets necessarily want to give up those two players. They have Kovalchuk in the AHL, so if they want to give him up, I guess that's not too bad of a move. But doesn't matter. A top six, Merzlikins. Merzlikins came in for Korpisalo, played great, and he's been the backup ever since. I think the backup at the time when I went to that Flyers game, we talked about that game multiple times. When I went to that Flyers game against the Blue Jackets, it was actually Kovalchuk and Merzlikins playing, which is actually pretty fun to see Merzlikins play. And pretty fun to see Tortorella, too. I wanted to, go down there and see, I'd be like, "What's up, Tortorella?" And then he was probably going to give me the finger. Because, that's what people do. People do to me. No, I'm kidding. So, you can see it most likely happening. I don't think it would be a smart move for Columbus, but if it happens, it happens. It would be great for the Oilers out of the way. Georgiev, after Lundqvist last night, I don't think that happens. Georgiev is going to be the backup for at least 10 years now, or at least 3 years now, if Lundqvist is leaving. Shesterkin, starter 100%. I don't know if he's, exactly deemed to be perfect starter, but still. So, yeah, Georgiev, I don't think he leaves New York after what happened last night with Lundqvist. Adin Hill, though. Adin Hill's a big one. So, with Adin Hill, he got signed a 1-year deal by the Coyotes. I mean, he's a decent backup goaltender. If you're going to have him as backup with Koskinen, which actually would not be bad, young goaltenders. But, I don't know. I don't think any of these players get traded to the Oilers, to be honest. It would not be smart by any of these teams, except for maybe Hill. I don't know. Korpisalo would not be smart. You have two great goalies in Korpisalo and Merzlikins. Georgiev, he's not leaving New York, whether they want to get rid of him or not. I mean, Georgiev requested a trade, if I'm not mistaken, but that didn't happen. So, we have 5 rumors left here. The Sens could target Justin Schultz, Chris Tanev, or Travis Hamonic. Travis Hamonic, as I mentioned with the Ristolainen trade. Schultz, I guess you could see him going there. Schultz is a defenseman for the Pens. And, he's been in trade rumors for a bit, so I guess the Sens could target him. Chris Tanev, there's negotiations with him getting re-signed, but we haven't exactly gotten that yet, so we'll see what happens with him. And Travis Hamonic, I think he opted out of the playoffs, too, in fact, which was decently smart, because Calgary didn't make it that far anyways. So, Travis Hamonic, with that, it is what it is. Take off what you will. There you go. So, another thing. The Oilers, the Senators, and the Panthers. Why the heck are the Oilers and the Senators showing so much interest? The Oilers, the Sens, and the Panthers are reportedly showing interest in Matt Dumba. Matt Dumba, a defenseman for the Minnesota Wild, is likely going to be traded due to cap space, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, and with Dumba, there's been rumors with him in Vancouver. There was a huge trade rumor with Dumba going to Vancouver for someone. And I don't know if I could see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think Dumba might stay in Minnesota. But if you guys are showing so much interest, we could see Dumba in New Jersey in a few days even. So you never know. The Canadians, the Predators, and the Flyers show interest in pending forward for the Rangers, Jesper Fast. Jesper Fast, I think he's a decent forward. I think he's a good third line right wing. New Jersey. So yeah, Jesper Foss, I think he could be a great player for either of these teams. The Habs, he could really help them out offensively. Preds could help them out offensively as well. Philadelphia, I don't know why the Flyers would show interest in him though. That could be the potential Gostisbehere trade, but I could not root for Gostisbehere if he was on the Rangers. I'm sorry. Now that Lundqvist is gone, my affection towards the Rangers and my likeness towards the Rangers has kind of gone down over the past couple of weeks. So you can take of what you will. The Habs could move Ben Sherratt. We got news with the Habs here. So the Habs can move Ben Sherratt. These are all defensemen. So defenseman Ben Sherratt could be shopped after the Joel Edmondson sign, which isn't surprising. Rick Kulak and Victor Mete could be shopped this offseason. Kulak, no. Kulak played great in the playoffs. That's not smart at all. Victor Mete, yes. I think he goes in. I think he goes. To be completely honest with you, I think that Victor Mete is gone by the end of the offseason with Montreal. Sherratt, I'm not exactly sure. Sherratt, I have not watched enough this season. I have not watched enough of the Canadiens this offseason to exactly say, oh, okay, this guy's decent. This guy, I don't think he'll get traded, but I don't know. Final rumor of the day here. This is a 25-minute long video. Yes, I can see how long it is. The Oilers reportedly are going to seek, or reportedly seek to trade Andreas Athanasiou after his contract expires in October. Now, with Athanasiou, he came from the Red Wings. I don't know what they would do with him, who they would trade him to. No teams have shown interest in him as far as I know. We'll likely talk about that more tomorrow in tomorrow's news time. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. We try to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We are 24 away. We are 74 away. Thank you guys so much for the constant support. I'll see you guys in the next video.